Hey everybody, welcome back to Bookish Daddy. I hope you all had a great weekend, a good Father's Day, and you enjoy this video. So, I am going to do a book tag called the Mid-Year Book Tag. I'm really excited about this one because I've been wanting to do a mid-year review or book review, and this other booktuber who goes by, hope I pronounce her last name right, uh, Katie Whitrook that I follow. Uh, I'll throw her down here. You need to go follow her. She has really good videos. But I watched hers and it was super fun. And I thought it was a good way to kind of go over what I've done over the first half of the year. And so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. It's the mid-year book tag, and Katie Whitrook is who I watched and got all these questions from. So if you enjoy it, make sure you like and comment and go follow her as well so that, she gets some props for it. So with all that being said, let's get into it. The first question is the best book you've read so far in 2024. And this one just changed like the other day. It is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. And that is it. I finally finished it, and it may be the best book I've ever read. It is a grim, dark fantasy, which I'm not normally a huge fan of, but dude, the emotion this elicited, the writing, it was so beautifully dark. It was so much fun. It took the original take on vampires and just really did them justice. They're terrifying. The book is just it is like I said, it is probably the best book I've ever read, and definitely the best book I read this year. So it's easily Empire of the Vampire. It was so fun. If you haven't yet, you have to go read this. The next question is best sequel you've read so far this year. So this one was pretty easy as well. It is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I've only read a few sequels so far, and this one I think was my favorite. Throne of Glass as a whole was such a fun read. I read Assassin's Blade first, which I recommend. I really enjoyed it thoroughly. Uh, and this was a very good sequel, a very good carry on to the story, jumps right into things, and it starts introducing characters that I began to love. Uh, Such a good book, and that is the one I'm picking. The next question is new releases that you haven't read yet but want to. So I just picked two for this. I didn't want to do a crazy amount. There are quite a few, but I picked two that I own. The first one is Dreadful by Caitlin Razukas. I think that's how you said that. I have no clue. But it is a beautiful book, and it sounds so fun. So since I am picking this for my most the new release that I want to read, I'll go over a little bit. It says it's bad enough waking up in a half-destroyed evil wizard's workshop with no eyebrows, no memories, and no idea how long you have before the Dread Lord, whoever that is, shows up to murder you horribly and then turn your skull into a goblet. It's a lot worse when you realize that the Dread Lord, whomever he is you. It sounds so fun and funny, and I think it's a very unique book. I'm sure this has been done before, but I have never read anything like this, and I'm very curious to give it a read. So that's the first one. And then the next one I'm excited about is the one I got from Fairy Loot, The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott. It's always hard to see in this light, but that is it. And it's another beautiful book. Uh, I have never read academia books, and so I am very excited about this one because it is like a genre I want to get into. It sounds super fun. Uh, this one I have read about before on here, so I'm not going to. But I'll just say that it's academia, it's YA, and it's fantasy. So that is the other one I'm very excited about. Well, I guess it won't hurt. I'll go over it real quick. To stay safe, Nicole hides in a small university town, convinced the mythological art collection at a local manor contains a final message from her mother. But before she can study it, Kyan, the Wake's most skilled Imperial, arrives on his own hunt. When Nicole and Kyan discover that his prey has stolen a painting for leverage, they're forced to work together. As the creature threatens to expose Nicole's powers, her tenuous alliance with Kyan threatens her heart. So it sounds fun. I love romances. Like I said, I've been wanting to do the academia books. So that's my other one. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Uh, yeah, so this one I don't own, but I own the first book, and it is The Darkness Within Us. I'll throw the little picture up here. And it is by Trisha Levenseller, and it is the second one to The Shadows Between Us, which I think I talked about in the last video. It's a Slytherin romance. Oh, it was so fun. But this second book is about the main character's sister. Uh, you get snippets of her in the first book, and like she just sounds like a airheaded princess, and now they twist it and say like that was all a show, and it kind of goes into her, and it's kind of the same lineup. So she married this old rich king, waiting for him to die so she can be rich and own all this land, and but some long lost nephew or grandson of the man she married shows up saying he's entitled to the inheritance, and he's devilishly handsome and super powerful and mysterious, and you can imagine where that goes. Or I can. I mean, it sounds like a super good book, though. The next one is biggest surprise this year. So for me, I took that as like, I guess the book that surprised me the most. This one is Butcher and Blackbird, and it is by Bryn Weaver. Uh, I went into this, I wouldn't say negatively. I was kind of excited, but I was also very nervous. So this is a dark romance with a laundry list of trigger warnings. Uh, but I ended up 5-starring it. I loved it. I will say though, if you're going to read this, I highly recommend the audiobook. Uh, my wife hated this, and I really think she would have liked it a lot more if she would have listened, because the voice actors that do like the Irish accents and their banter and the playfulness in their voices and like the sound effects really enhance this book. I think it would have been a lot harder to get through if I weren't listening to it. Which is, it's very rare that I would say pick an audiobook over a book. But if I had to say that about a book, it would be this one. But it very much surprised me. I went in very nervous, and it was surprisingly good. It was a very fun read. So, oh, it matches my shirt. The next one is favorite new author, debut or new to you. That one's pretty obvious. It's going to be the one I said earlier, Jay Kristoff. His writing blew me away. It was so much fun. It was so dark, but in a good way. I don't even like, even Joe Abercrombie and like Robin Hobb and like just the big names on the back of this book singing its praises are enough to like make you pick it up. You're like, oh man, that's some high praises. His writing is insane. It was so much fun, and yeah, that's probably one of my new favorite authors. I'm so excited about the next one. The next one is newest fictional crush. So that one's so different. I don't really get fictional crushes. Uh, but I'm gonna say, and I know I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong. I say Manon. Manon is what I've been hearing lately. But Air of Fire, Manon, she's one of the witches in the Throne of Glass series. She's very dark, dangerous, kind of has like a gothic look to her, I would say, or an emo look, is how I picture her, with like light, long white hair and always wearing dark clothes and very morose, but very, very cool character, very dangerous character. and a very fun character. And I would say that she's probably the one I would pick. Book that made you cry is the next one. If you can believe it, Empire of the Vampire. It is the first book that has ever made me like really sob in a book. It may not have the same effect on you, but there is in particular two scenes in this that really hit home with me, just due to my circumstances or things that I have in common, or just things that really hit home for me, and they were brutal. Like even my wife was looked over and was like, "What is going on?" Like I'm terrified of this book now because I was just like, it crushed me. I had to take like an hour break. I was like sobbing everywhere. Uh, God, it is a good book. It was so fun, and yeah, that's probably the only book to make me cry in the last 5 years, 5 to 10 years. It's been a long time since I've cried in a book. It was brutal. Book that made you happy. So we'll go with the opposite of that one. This one, you are probably getting sick of me talking about. Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Uh, Holy cow, it was so fun and lighthearted, and it genuinely made me happy. There are other books that where I enjoy like all the high stakes and the suspense and the morose, but this one, when I sat and read it, I don't know what it was. It just made me feel like I could just sit in like a bed of flowers on in the springtime or on the back porch in the summer, and just it genuinely made me happy. It was so cute and fun, and that is the book I would pick. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. This was a hard one because I buy books based off of looks a lot of times. So I have a lot of like runner ups that are just beautiful books. Uh, but I settled on this one. It is Five Broken Blades by Mai Corlin. I have not read it yet, but the cover, the artwork on like the side of the book, the back of the book, the artwork inside of the book, it is just a beautiful, beautiful book. And it is one of my favorite ones that we've bought based off aesthetics. Like just that sitting on the shelf, I love it so much. Uh, so that's one I'm going to pick for most beautiful book. But there were a lot of like tons of books because I buy all the sprayed edges, and if I see a pretty cover, I usually pick it up. So that one went out though. Five Broken Blades. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Uh, so if you can look behind me, I mean, everything I need to read. There's so many books I want to read this year, but I'm gonna say the most anticipated, or the one I have to read this year, is gonna be Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff. It's the second book to Empire of the Vampire. I have a couple projects I'm working on for future videos. They're gonna be like my first ones I've like pre-planned a lot for. So this has been put on the back burner a little bit, and it is killing me. Like I have got to read this book ASAP. The first one was phenomenal, and I hear there's a third book coming out, so I really, really want to read this before it does. I don't know a release date or anything, but there is not a book in this house I want to read more than this right now. I am just dying to read it. That's the cover. So that is it for the mid-year book tag. Katie Whitrook, again, I'll throw her up here. Go give her a follow. Thank you so much for doing such a fun video and a good video idea for the middle of the year. That being said, I'm going to shout out a couple people to try and do it as well so I can see their reviews. The main one is going to be Ian Gubeli. Sounds more fun to say. I would like to see him do this video, and his wife Ashlyn if she wants to. It would be super cool to see you both do the video. I'll put y'all's faces up here. Graham Matthews, I talk about him all the time. We're in the Bromance Book Club together. I'll throw him up. And then Jordan Elaine, I think it would be fun to see her do this video. So if you booktubers that I enjoy watching would do this video, I would love to see it. I hope all of you have such a great week and enjoy this video. And if you do, make sure that you like, you comment, and subscribe. And I would really appreciate it if you share my videos with your friends. We're growing, and it's so awesome to see the community getting bigger and bigger. Uh, that's it. Y'all have a great day.